That's very interesting because even when I was talking about social innovation, it's always about the impact. Like if you know whatever you do through whatever you have learned is creating some sort of good impact on the people around you. That's, I guess, in the end of the day, that's the most satisfactory thing you could get out of this whole experience. So this is going to be the second part of our ongoing podcast with Akanksha. In this podcast, we are talking about government, policy making, social innovation, especially in the context of India. And the core of the podcast is a hope or a willingness to come back to India to do something for our own people by the knowledge which we are gaining over time. Because it's all about impacting people around you. If you're kind of losing the context, don't worry. Just go back to the part 1 of the podcast and listen to it. Otherwise, we are going to continue this amazing conversation. But after this intro, let's go. Hi, I'm Suyog, also known as the Fun Indian Guy. I'm a designer, musician, filmmaker, and a mechanical engineer. I'm from India, and currently I'm chilling around, traveling around, working around, roaming around, having fun around Europe. And this is my podcast. So whenever we talk about service design or designer in general, I guess our task or designer's task is to get the right people, ask the right question, start the right conversation at right point and right place. Because designers are always more like facilitators than somebody who's taking decisions for some people.
Right.
Like that's not who we are. We are just facilitating because everybody had some sort of sense that what they want and what needs to be done in a better way. So our task is always to do the facilitation. That's why I always get like amused by this topic of social innovation and policy making. Interestingly, last year, 2019, 16 or 17. Yeah, 2017. We had a masterclass of 7 days in university about service design in policy making. It was by a Finnish guy called Marco. What is his last name? Anyway, I forgot the last name of Marco. Marco is a big deal though in Finland because he studied in States, then he was working Ireland government, then London government, and then Finland government. And like even Prime Minister of Finland used to call him for meetings, like personally call him. So he's a big deal. He is also coming from architectural background because he's director of Architectural Museum of Finland. So this guy was super duper amazing, and we had like a 1 week long masterclass in Polytechnico, and it opened up so many things for me as well because we did 3 exercises in different contexts and types of problems. Best because introducing design into a government, like for example here a government organization asked you to bring design, but sometimes how to bring design into a government organization without they knowing anything about it is also a task.
Which is a bigger task.
Yes,
actually.
than actually solving the problem. So we had some sort of situations where how we should approach governments or how we should get some sort of a influence on government to do these things, which is very interesting and it's very exciting. And that's why I wanted to also do this social innovation workshop in India. Apart from this creative community building, I really wanted to also do like bring people and tell them what's happening around the world where people are doing something for the city or city is doing something about people with designers involved, because our task is again to start the conversation and get it nicely done instead of messing everything, because everybody wants to do change, everybody wants to change for betterment, but
where do you start?
Yes, and they're not defined steps, so it might end up being a big mess.
Yeah.
So we need good designers and facilitators to tackle such problems. In that, I'm always writing. This time, not always, but this podcast particularly, I'm writing stuff while we are talking. Sorry if it's disturbing, because there are a lot of things coming in my head and then I forget. And then we go into different flow and I forget to mention that. That's why I'm just writing down all these interesting things. While we are talking about governments and design, in Maharashtra, there is this YouTube channel called Bharatiya Digital Party. They do comedy and like fun videos in Marathi, and they are now a big entity because it's a company. Then they started Bharatiya Touring Party, which is lifestyle and touring channel, where I'm making videos, one of those coffee videos which got 100,000. So this is a channel which got funded by Google now.
Oh, wow.
this year. So Google made not a competition, but it was an open call for media organizations, so media companies, to do something for changing the way the news is being told,
Mm-hmm.
like media, like news journalism. So they wanted a new creative ideas to tackle this problem, and they opened a call. 7 companies, I guess, were selected from India. Most of them were this media like NDTV or something like that,
Okay. The
because they made a good pitch
big
about it.
shots.
Yeah, and then Bhadipa, this Bharatiya Digital Party YouTube channel, was the only YouTube channel picked in the whole Asia
Oh.
for this project, and they got funded by Google, and they started this new channel called Vishay Khole, which means in English the topic is deep, like there is a depth to this topic. It's like a funny way to say it in Marathi. And now they're doing is awareness about voting, and they are setting up platforms where they are bringing all politicians on the stage, and they're doing question answer and creative thinking about how they can solve the problems. So it's like a new take on also journalism, but using media for a good purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're bringing people and politicians on the same platform, so they can have a conversation instead of accusing everybody, which I feel very interesting. Like, this is the right step. This is, our generation is getting more and more aware about all these issues, and I think these are the needed steps. From this topic, I want to come to you about, as now you have some sort of experience working for projects with EU. Also at university, we are doing amazingly interesting social innovation projects, or general projects in general. General projects in general. Wow. What do you feel about India when it comes to service design or doing something for people? What do you feel?
Okay. So I think more than here, more than Europe, India, or in general, any third world country or a developing country, let's put it in a positive way,
Yeah.
a developing country needs this kind of thing more, because we have core issues. Like, I mean, I don't want to sound rude,
Yeah.
but our problem is not to design the best chair in India,
Yeah.
because we have bigger problems to deal with.
Yeah.
We have poverty, we have hunger, we have, I don't know where to start, right?
Yeah.
Because here the problems are still a bit,
Yeah. First world problems.
yeah. So I see that there is way more scope in India to use some of this, while at the same time the service design field or the phenomena or whatever you want to call it, it's not the most relevant right now. Like, people, there is still time for us to get acknowledged there, and as like we were sort of trying to do that, right? We were trying to think about Service Design Drinks India, or I don't know, some ways to sort of collaborate with that,
Yeah.
even while sitting here, because in the end it's more important, like the problems there, if we can even do our slight bit to solve them or to help someone else solve them,
Yeah.
I think that would be the most useful learning from this whole journey, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's somehow, when we were solving such problems in different projects, I was always getting this feeling that we can do this in India, or we can start making such kind of things in India, or make such platforms in India. And it was interesting because even where you come from plays important role in how you think.
Yeah, I agree.
And somehow we also know our problems better than other problems. And I think at some point I would personally like to do something about it, like, which I've already started taking steps, and we were also discussing in the same program which I told you right now on the YouTube, where they are getting politicians and people
Bhadipa.
to discuss. Yes. The first episode of politician was CM of Maharashtra was on the platform to talk about the problems and everything, Devendra Fadnavis. And then he was talking a lot about how there are policies and budget now to make every village a smart village, and what they are doing, what kind of infrastructure they want to set up, what are the new possibilities they want to create in villages. Because our problem is our cities are getting way bigger, because entertainment, education, all these needs are sort of based in cities. That's why everybody wants to come and stay in cities. But if we start providing such things in town, maybe people will prefer staying in town, because I personally feel staying in towns is way better than staying in village, in cities, because I come from a town. You come from a city. I don't know what kind of perspective you have it on that.
I mean, since I come from a city and I've always lived in Delhi, and Delhi is like, it's 20 million people in that small city.
Yeah.
So I am used to
Yeah.
living like that. But at the same time, if we were to sort of disperse the kind of opportunities or the services
Yeah.
that we have in a city to other places, it wouldn't lead to that. It
Yeah.
wouldn't lead to cities being so overpopulated that you just feel suffocated in a way.
Yeah.
And polluted as well. Like,
Yeah.
all of this is also causing the kind of because it's the air quality in Delhi is like I don't know
Yeah.
what to even say
I
about it.
visited Delhi for the first time this year in 2018, like a couple of months back, 4 or 5 months back. Yeah, and I was like, I always heard that air quality in Delhi is not so good, but then I had to be there to understand what they're talking about. But it was not that bad that day. Maybe it wasn't the right season.
Yeah, probably. But the point being that, okay, yeah, I mean, I come from a city, so for sure I want to live in a city because that's something I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
But had the city been less populated, less polluted, it would be really great. So one way to do that is that you decentralize the services that you have.
Yeah.
So if you empower the villages or the towns more,
Yeah.
there would be less migration.
True.
So yeah, I mean, I would totally be in for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of where we as designers come in, right?
Yeah.
We can help these villages or these towns to optimize the kind of services that they can offer.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure we can design the services, but I think the problem in India is how do you optimize on that?
Yes.
So yeah.
So exactly. So when he was talking about all these smart towns and all these things, I was very fascinated, because I like, wow, that's great, and would like to be somehow part of that and help as in put my contribution in the whole process. Let's see how it works out, because after listening to that 1 hour long interview or discussion, I was very positive, and I had a lot of insights like, wow, this is happening, that is happening. We have this much budget. Interesting fact about Maharashtra, or I guess it was Indian statistics, I don't remember exactly. There are more than 60% startups in agricultural sector than the other sectors, because it's the most hot topic and also requires more technology in. I love to work on agriculture as well. So it's all fascinating. Somehow we have to find a link to start doing something, because as I say on this channel, doing is the only way of doing it. Talking is a beginning, but doing is the real doing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Other thing you just talked about is perspective of a city person, whether he will go to village or whether he will like to stay in the same city if the city was better on all those aspects. Because I always think from the village, like downside perspective, and now I think like, that does make sense. Because there are two kinds of ways to reduce the population of a city. Either you get the people out of the city, or you get less people to come in the city. So I was always talking about village people not leaving, but maybe also they coming back, or city people coming to village. There are a lot of different interactions which possibly could solve the issue, or at least get the things in a better way. Interesting. It's very fascinating. I wrote it down actually. So yeah, it's great. Like at least that we feel some sort of like hopeful about our own country because of skill set which we acquired in last couple of years.
I mean, also
it's great.
I have to say that I mean, I felt this through the whole 1.5 years that I have been in Milan during this course, that since I come from India, I have a very different perspective on things.
Yeah.
Because we know about the core issues. We're not talking about superficial issues.
Yeah.
We come from somewhere where we've seen things way worse than most people can imagine here.
Yeah.
And that gives us such a depth to the problems. Like, I don't know about you, but I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're quite similar in that sense. We wouldn't waste time on stuff that doesn't need attention.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, designing the best chair, for me, it's not the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
So you choose your battles,
Yeah.
and you know how to choose them because
Yeah.
you come from such a diverse background.
True.
So just having lived in India, just being in India, really changes a lot of things for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's a good perspective. And I guess she doesn't mean any, like, she's not saying people who are designing chair are stupid.
no,
But when we are in position, whether we should design a chair or try to solve a real issue, like maybe designing a chair could be an issue, but like real social innovation projects, or even when you do innovation projects for any big companies where now I come from, Porsche or anything, I'm always thinking about how this service or whatever I'm creating, even for the big players or big brands, are affecting all the elements in the society, because they play also an important role. Even if you're not doing directly the social innovation project, the projects you are doing are somehow affecting all the aspects.
yeah.
So it's good that we are aware, and it's good that and we should always keep all these things in mind whenever we are doing it. And I feel that we are on right path as far as that is concerned. Sometimes I also feel I'm not on right path when I'm thinking like I shouldn't think like that, or I should think like that. But that's introspection or retrospection, whatever. But love to be in this position right now where we are hopeful about things. Super cool, super cool. I'm gonna do something for my country for sure. I think she will also
same
support
here.
that, and I know there is a need. Again, our task is not to directly go and solve the problems. Of course, the people who are facing the real problems know the problem way better than us. But service design or design thinking, let us get those people in the process of creating solutions. So when we say we want to come back and solve problems, it's not like we're gonna come and just take decisions and make things work. We're gonna get real, like the approach is to get real people and solve real issues in a nice sense where it really makes sense somehow.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. This conversation is amazing. Now I'm gonna go towards what, like, this was also one of the podcasts on my channel. What turns you on? Not in a wrong way, of course. Like for me, what turns me on is like whenever I'm playing music, the feeling of hitting that drumstick and creating some sort of feelings out of that sound turns me on. While doing such innovation projects, just the feeling that if I do this right now in this planning of this project, this is going to cause this change on these many people's life.
Yeah.
So I think I'm answering your question for you, but what turns you on
So okay.
to do anything?
Okay. So let's say from more of the design perspective right now, for me it's also that feeling that like things are working in a certain way and you change this one aspect, what happens, like just to kind of understand the dynamics, like you feel like a puppet master at some point, like if I kind of change this, this could happen, like to understand the impact. I don't mean in a like
negative way.
Negative way, but it's like what you do, how it affects people, or how you can affect people in a positive way. So that kind of thinking, it's something that really is interesting, because I never felt like this before. Like also as an architect, technically I was doing that. You design a space in a certain way, so you kind of impact how the person is going to move in that space, or you kind of imagine the journey of the person in that space. But I never thought about architecture in that sense. So it kind of gave me a different perspective on things, which is really fun. I mean, if you imagine, right, you're someone who can build things in a certain way, and then you see how people, like, you just see people interact with it, which is interesting. And then from the less nerdy side of things, I think I would say traveling. Like,
okay, nice.
Because I mean, even if I was in the university, or even if I'm here in doing my internship or whatever, somehow traveling has been on my priority list, as you would know. So I was still trying that, okay, I just have to go around, I have to see so many things, I have to see so many different people, eat so much different food, which was super important. But yeah, I mean, traveling is something that really, like,
keeps you going.
Yeah, I would say that.
Nice. That's cool. The next question. What are you looking forward to in life?
In life.
Let's not talk about issues like finding an apartment in Berlin. I know the issues are serious and happening right now, but in life.
I don't know. I mean, in the end, I just want a happy life, and that's it. Like, I am not someone who'll say, I want this job with this company in this city,
Yeah.
earning this much money. No, not really.
Yeah.
I just want to be satisfied in terms of, okay, I'm happy, I'm eating good food, I'm healthy, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I think before, when I think I was still back in India, and like, I think the education system is such that you start thinking that, okay, I need this job,
Yeah.
then I need to make so much money,
Yeah.
then I need to marry, I need to make kids, la 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 la. And now I just think that I just want to be happy, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working towards.
True.
I don't know what's going to happen like in 5 months when I finish my internship, but
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
okay.
That's the base of it. It's very interesting. Super interesting. Again, this again reminds me of things which I'm going through. Whenever I'm doing some work at the company or anywhere, I reach this moment where I'm like, if what I'm doing right now is not making me happy in any sense, I better go back and do some social innovation project. Even if there's no money, I'll be happier. And that's, I think, very important. And when you are aware about such things and how you feel about things, I think it's much clearer to approach life in general, because then you
Yeah.
know your priorities. And
Yeah, exactly.
then you are not revolving around things which really don't make any sense, but then you realize it afterwards. So it's always good to be aware than regrets afterwards. And that's, I think you are on right path. I must say,
Thank you
being
so
a
much.
senior in services.
You
No, no, no.
validating my life.
No, I stopped calling myself senior, I guess, last year. I just
We're
joined
the
before
same
her.
age. Come on.
Yeah. I just say I just joined the course before her. Yeah, there's nobody senior, nobody junior. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
It was wonderful. Hope to have you back on the podcast some other day
Yeah, sure. If
when we talk about some different things or new things in the same topic or something like that.
yeah, sounds great.
It was really fun. I enjoyed it. How about you?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah, I mean, I've been, as you would know, I've been sulking for the last 2 days, and this is my high point for the weekend. So yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. Do you have any takeaways at all from this podcast? I'll give you a minute to think about it. It's not like, wow, tell me.
So I think you and I, we've had these conversations informally
Yeah.
because, yeah, I mean, we're friends.
Okay.
I hope so. But I don't know, I never had this conversation with you with this intensity and this formal way, right? Because if we're informally talking about it, we just
Yeah.
deroot and talk about, oh, this happened, that happened,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So we've never had like
Focused
focused
discussion.
discussions about this. And for a fact, I know that both of us kind of are serious about what we do. It's
Yeah.
not like we're not just here for fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we are, but yeah. Sorry.
Questioning the values of the channel itself.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
not just fun.
not just fun. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's been really nice. I mean, I didn't know that we could connect on
Yeah.
so many levels, which is different from what we think
Yeah.
why
True.
we're friends. But yeah, it was really interesting, and also like to see a fellow Indian
Yeah.
who's going through the same
Yeah.
things, or who's thinking about the things in the same way.
Yeah.
Because it kind of tells you that you're not alone in this.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And we need more people like this, guys.
Yeah.
This is awareness content. This is not a content for going viral and making more views on YouTube. That was never a goal. In the beginning, it was a goal, but yeah.
Now he's
the
above
phase,
that.
Yeah, the phase has disappeared long back. So yeah, we need more people who are aware about these things and ready to participate. You don't have to be service designer. As I said, we have social responsibilities, as we are in the same topic. We have our own social responsibilities, and we have our own skill set to deal with it. And in some way or another, we are in position to help our community or help everybody around us. I've talked about this in previous podcast. That's why I'm again saying we just need right people to do these right things. And I think everybody is the right person, just they don't know it yet.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Totally.
Cool. Even for me, it was really amazing. Again, focused discussion, and it's gonna be on YouTube. So there is if something nice happens, we can always refer to this podcast. Like we did talk about it back then, and now we are doing it. If we don't do it, maybe I'll delete this video. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much once again for being
Yeah,
here.
thank you so much.
It was really fun. Really fun. I wrote a lot of stuff. If
I'm
you're watching
glad.
the video.
Someone was taking notes while I was talking.
Whoa! Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Thank you for staying till the end. Means a lot that you are spending a lot of time of you with us. Time is very important, and we feel valued if you are present till now.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Fun Indian Guy on YouTube, or like on Facebook, or if you're listening to the podcast, tell your friends if you find it interesting on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. The podcast is also available on Pocket Cast and all those podcasting applications, and YouTube in the end. Subscribe on the YouTube means super a lot. It's like a script, I always have to say. Press the bell icon, because I think that's the thing everybody's telling you to do. And that's all. Thank you so much. See you around. See you super soon. Ciao.